Okay, hello. It's Mark here. This is just a quick video demonstration on some weekend hacking I've been doing on a Git repository-based database migration framework. Okay, so the basic premise is I'm wanting to test database migrations, but solve the issue of having multiple sites that have slightly different sets of migrations that need to be applied, and also have a way of supporting feature branches of when I've got features that are in progress during development that aren't meant to be in the main line of migrations yet, that I can easily maintain migration scripts that are inside feature branches that then get merged in, and not having to worry about other migration frameworks that use like timestamps to actually order things, because just because you created a migration 3 weeks ago doesn't mean it should run before a migration that was introduced last week if that migration was only actually merged in this week. So yeah, there's some weird kind of problems there. So we have here a little Git repository that's got a bunch of database migrations in it. Some branches branch Site A and Site B for two different independent deployments. For say, they might be two different customer sites, they might be QA, they might be dev. I've got an integration branch that merges in both Site A and Site B to pull in all of those migrations from either side. And on the integration branch, I've just got two tags at intermediary steps along the way. So if we just switch to our master branch, I can just drop and recreate my database, just so we're at a complete clean room database. So we have no relationships. Now, if I just run git migrate, and we'll just delete this for now, specifying on the command line the JDBC URL for the database. And we can see we've got two migrations that have been applied, and that's all kind of nice. So we've got our two commits here, first migration and added second migration. And the output is just currently showing the SHA-1 of the git commit and the git commit message. Now, we can run the migrations and actually show the individual files that are being actually applied by just adding in ---- files. And we can see, oh crap, okay, so we've already applied this migration. So we can see here that on this SHA, the migration 1 up.sql file failed because the users table already exists. Oh, okay, that's because we already applied it. Duh. Well, I'm a bit stupid. Okay, so that's the first test of our migration framework that's passed. We can repeat migrations and they will fail if there's any problems. Currently, this little hack project doesn't actually store into the database the last known migration version, so we have to specify things at the moment. So moving on, let's just go to our Site A branch, where we've added, we can see we branched off here, we've added a Site A migration, and we've added another migration that's also on this branch. So if we check out Site A, and we'll just drop our database just for niceness. If we migrate again, we can now see we've got our first migration, our second migration, the first of the Site A migrations, and our second Site A migration. Cool. So immediately we can already see that the Git version repository is actually adding and removing files, and things are actually working as we expect. So if we look in our database, we can see, yes, these tables actually do exist, and the migrations have actually been doing things. Okay, so if we check out our Site B, and we'll just drop our database once again and run our migrations. Cool, so we can see the same first two migrations, the first migration and added second migration, have applied as we expected, and two separate different migrations that have been applied for Site B. So these are things that are running completely in isolation of each other. These could be feature branches, like I said, or just different sites that are having to have different migrations because they've got slightly different configurations. Now, this is where we start getting into some interesting things. So if we switch to our integration branch, which currently has both of Site A and Site B merged into it, and we try running our migrations just like we were doing before. Okay, once again we can see that because we're not saving to the database the most recent version of the migration, it's going to be running all the migrations from scratch. So it's failed on migration 1, saying that the users table already exists. So how do we get around this? Okay, well we can, excuse me, we can see here that we've done these 4 commits. So this SHA is the last one that we've done. So we can set our base SHA and run our migrations, and then we'll see we've only added the migrations that follow that. In the normal situation, once this is probably a bit further on, we will also be saving this into the database, and this will just work. If we, let's say, let's do something slightly different. So if we drop our databases once again, and we've got now 2 different tags here along this migration path, integration branch. Integration release 1, we'll just say, say for whatever reason we know the migration that's immediately following that commit does not work, and we need to migrate up to that point in time, do some other migrations or do something else, and then continue on. Possibly we know that the migration that's going to be running after that is actually a long running migration, and we want to stagger, for whatever reason we want to stagger this, or we know that the version of software that we're about to deploy doesn't actually require these migrations, so we are just going to stop migrations a bit early on. We can do a git migration line there. And if we change our commands to actually say head integration 1, and this is just defining the ref, the git ref or tag or SHA of where we actually want to migrate up to. And we'll see our migrations tick along and just set up to that migration for Site B right here. So it's stopped at migration 1. And so then once we've done things, we can run it again from our base of migration integration release 1, and we've moved on. What you'll have noticed here is that we're completely ignoring any merge commits as well. I think that's a good thing. There's no reason to actually try and extract and run things from a merge commit, so yeah. So this is just my little hack so far, and once again we just migrate the whole thing. Voila. And yeah, I think this is actually going to work out kind of quite cool for certain scenarios. See ya.